Friday. We're getting toward the end of the workday, especially for those of us on the East Coast. And then, Alexis, you're in the future. So you're already into Saturday morning. Tell me, what's life like on Saturday?
Life like on Saturday morning in Sydney at 7:16 a.m. It's raining and gloomy outside. However, I'm really enjoying it because it means that I can stay indoors and watch movies all day.
Oh, it sounds like a delightful, delightful day. All right. So now the reason I wanted to do this live stream, so Alexis, you and I have had the opportunity to do some great work together. And you are one of the greatest people I know when it comes to mindset, stuff around like knowing, kind of this knowingness, like if you're doing the right thing, you're feeling like, because I think we've all experienced that when it's like, man, I just feel like so in the groove right now versus those times where like, why is all this bad stuff happening? And it just feels like I can't get stuff to happen. I'm getting all these roadblocks. Money's an issue. Relationship stuff. And so you work with people to help get them and find that alignment. And I know that there are some people who are going to hear this and they'll be like, oh, wait, isn't this just woo-woo stuff? But what I love about how you work is that you make it pretty accessible. And it's like, no, you use you use some good common sense language. And I know, and everybody knows, if you've got bad energy, it's really hard to, and I hate to use this word attract, but it seems like when we feel unstoppable, it's like that scene from Harry Potter when he drinks the lucky juice. And just like, I don't know what that stuff is called. If somebody knows what that stuff is called, comment below. I always forget what that's called. What's the lucky potion called? Comment below. Help me out on that. But Alexis, that's when like everyone's felt that. But what I would really love, Alexis, if you could share some great tips. We're gonna have a conversation about this. Like, how can we get in alignment and feel in alignment and experience that what feels like luck on a regular basis? Because it is possible. There's bad stuff. Things are gonna happen in life, but there's a resiliency when you know that. Oh, I got to stop talking. Alexis, let me give you some time here. I've kind of spouted off a bunch of stuff. I would love for you to just take what I've been talking about. You take it away.
Thank you, Josh. So when it comes to being in alignment, this is something that I really struggled with for a very long time. I didn't really understand what alignment meant. There was lots of these words that were woo-woo that were going around as alignment, calling in your client, being law of attraction. And when it did a lot of research around law of attraction. I did a lot of research around the woo-woo side of things. I did a lot of research around all of the things, and I worked out what worked best for me. And then I started implementing that into my coaching business. And one of the biggest things that I found was having clarity. And like you just said, if you're focusing on the wrong things and you're feeling heavy and you keep asking, why is bad things happening to me? Well, bad things are always going to continue to happen to you because the universe always says yes, whether it's good or whether it's bad, whether it's indifference, it doesn't really matter. The universe always says yes to whatever you ask for. And in every moment you are manifesting what is going on, manifesting a happy mood, manifesting things showing up in your world. And when you're talking about that deep knowing, it's really knowing who you are to begin with. So the people that I work with in my business, we really uncover who they are. And one of the biggest things I'm working with at the moment is going through happiness, health, and wealth. And wealth is not just wealthy in finances, it's wealthy in love, wealthy in abundance, wealthy in having fun, playing, being, all of the things. And that deep sense of knowing who you are, it's really uncovering and taking and I don't really like the word audit, but I'm going to use it anyway, taking an audit of where you are right now. So what are the things that you have done in your life that have brought you to now? Because there's that many mindset coaches and abundance coaches, there's that many people doing podcasting, and there's that many people doing all of the things. However, we're all individual and we're all unique, and we all have our own things that have brought us to where we are, and we all have our own unique experiences. So if you go back and have a look at what are the jobs that you have done over the years, my background's personal training, hospitality, and personal training, hospitality, and real estate. I forgot what they were. And they're all people orientated
Right.
businesses. And as Josh knows, technology and I are learning to become friends, but it's not my strong point. And I know what my strong point is. I know what my strengths are, and I play really, really well at my strengths. And I am learning how to do other things that I know I need to build on, but I'm not putting pressure or forcing myself, because when I did, over the last year, Josh has witnessed, I had a little bit of a meltdown. And we're all human. We all have flaws. We all have stuff that's going on. And it's admitting, going, you know what, I'm not good at that. I know that I'm not good at it, and I don't really particularly want to be good at it. I love the mind. I love watching people succeed. I love watching people. But one of my clients the other day, she said her husband came up to her and said, I don't care how much money you're spending right now on your personal development, but I feel like I've got my girl back that I met 12 years ago. You're giggling, you're fun, you're just being this amazing woman. And I don't know what shifted in the last few weeks, but it's amazing. And I just burst into tears. I was like, oh my God, that is so beautiful. And it wasn't about the business. It was about having more fun. It was about being less angry and on edge. And it's just amazing to watch. And I love working with business women and even men in business. And the things that we peel back are all of who you are, because we're already who we are, but we've built these walls up in front of us. And it's about breaking down those walls to really uncover who you truly were meant to be in this world.
Think about, Alexis, how powerful this is. And some of us, we have jobs and it drains us. We get done with the day and we're like, ugh, thank God it's Friday, right? And it's like, but then, there are a fortunate few of us who get to do what we truly love. And when you do it and you're doing it, you get done doing that thing and you're like, this is why I'm on the earth right now. I mean, that's the dream. And like, for someone who says, man, Alexis, I'm not feeling that. And because I get done with the workday and I'm just drained, and then I come home and I'm not showing up for my family, I'm not showing up for my loved ones. Like I feel like then I feel guilty because I feel like I'm ripping them off, but I just don't have the energy to give. Right? So what does someone do in that situation?
Breathe is the first thing. Because as you were saying that, I was picturing, I could feel there's so many people are like that in the world, that they don't love their job that they go to. And how are you waking up in the morning is the first thing. How are you waking up? Are you waking up in the morning going, oh, another day in the office? Oh, it's going to be a long day. I'm going to come home. I'm going to be stretched. I'm going to be exhausted. Then I've got the kids, and then the kids are going to be at me. And then I've got my partner at me, and I've got to do all of the things all of the time. And it's exhausting. I can't wait to Saturday to just completely shut off. And it's becoming aware of your thought patterns to begin with. So how are you waking up? And is it really as bad as what you're creating for yourself in your head? And if it is as bad as you're creating it for yourself in your head, why are you still there? Why are you still in that position? If you are not happy where you are and you're not happy with the things that are going on, well, something has to shift and change. And something that has to shift and change is you. You are the one that has to shift and change. And I can speak wholeheartedly and knowing and really, really direct at this, because I've had to go through a lot of stuff, because I used to be that person. Yeah. Life's hard, this is hard, da-da-da. But then I've decided that I wanted to shift and change my life. So every Monday morning, my alarm goes off at 5. No, it doesn't go off at 5 o'clock. It goes off at 4:20 a.m. I'm at the gym by 5 a.m. I'm home by 6 o'clock, and then I get my day started. People go, how do you do that? Well, because I decided that that's what I want to do. I don't need to justify myself to anybody. I don't need to explain myself to anybody. I have decided that I wanted to change my life. I wanted to change my fitness regime. So I decided that if I want to get my fitness in and work with a personal trainer, I have to do that at 5 a.m. because that's the only time that I have available in my busy schedule. Being a single mum, running an empire, building greatness, and working with the most phenomenal people, for me to be the best person that I can be and serve my clients the best way I know how, is that I fill my love cup up first. So are you filling your love cup up first? And listening to the stories, are you blaming other people for the way that your life is? Because when you can take full responsibility and look at yourself in the mirror and go, well, where are you not showing up the way that you need to be? Where are you not doing the things that you said that you were going to do? How can anybody else in your life do what they're supposed to do if you're not doing what you're supposed to do? And it's just taking that radical responsibility, and I do it a little bit more gently in my coaching calls, in my program, but it's peeling it back and doing it really lovingly, but also going, okay, well, no, that story doesn't serve me anymore. What's my new story that I want to be telling myself for the big dream? And really gaining clarity on what it is that you want. What do you want your life to look like? Before you even think about business, or you think about the corporate career, or you think about any of all of those things, what is it that you want from life? What do you want from life? And when you can understand what it is that you want from life and gain clarity on that, the universe starts providing opportunities. The universe starts guiding and showing you where you need to be shifting and moving towards. And if you're in a corporate, or if you're doing a job that you don't like, sit down and write down what you want to do, from like what you want your life to look like. Is there something that lights your soul on fire? What lights your soul on fire? And one of the biggest things that I've worked with my clients with and has been game changing is, I want you to ask yourself, when was the last time you had a proper belly laugh where you were crying and you couldn't breathe? When was that last time? If you cannot remember the last time you had a belly laugh, before you do anything, go watch a comedian, go find someone that makes you laugh, and go and sit and have a full on belly laughing session. And then start getting into it, because it's game changing when you laugh. Like, I laugh, belly laugh every day, like numerous times a day. And my laugh is quite loud when I get into it. But that's who I am. I'm fun. And I wasn't always like this. There was a time about 2 years ago where I was completely depressed for 2 months. I put myself to bed after I took my daughter to school. It's a progression, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's not a destination we're heading to. It is a journey. And we're following those breadcrumbs, and we're twisting and we're turning and we're going up and we're going down and around. And we're human. We have emotions. We need to feel them.
Yeah. For someone, I'm thinking of, like, for example, like you being able to go to the gym so early in the morning. And I know a lot of people, like, they hear that and they go, I just don't have the motivation. Right. And I get that. Like, I know what it's like to say that, because that's quite a commitment to do that. But how does someone get the motivation?
So if you'd asked me that question in November last year, I would have said, you are nuts. So there's no way I'm getting up at 4:20 to be at the gym by 5 a.m. There was no way in November last year. And it's only been my new routine probably for the last 3 or 4 weeks, because I made a radical decision that I wanted things to change. I wasn't getting to the gym. I wasn't able to exercise. And I was a cranky so-and-so because I wasn't able to exercise, because personal training is my background. I love fitness. I love exercise. And I love doing all of the things and feeling that you get when you go to the gym. So for me so I went and I signed up at the gym, and then I said, I want a personal trainer. And that's the only time that we've got is early. And I'm like, well, I can't do anything from 8 till 10 in the morning, because I've got a daughter that I have to take to school, and then my clients start. So for me to be able to do it, I had to make that decision. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy to begin with. Yeah. And last night was Friday night. So yesterday I got up at 4:20, and then I ended up randomly just going out to dinner with my sister, which I wouldn't have normally done. 5:30 dinner, but then they went out and had a few drinks, and I was driving, and it got to about 9:30. I'm like, I've got to go. I've got to tap out, because I'm exhausted. So by Friday afternoon, I'm pretty tired. However, I know that I've had a huge week, and the things that I want to show up in my world start showing up more faster. That's good English. Show up faster.
More better.
Show up faster than I ever thought possible, because when I'm exercising, that's when I feel the most abundant. And I have little mantras that I say in my mind when I'm exercising, and I'm pushing my body to the limit, which means that I can push my mindset to the limit, which means that I can create more space in my world by doing that. So if you want, and it's not about going from waking up at 8 a.m. to waking up at 4:20, like that's just ridiculous. So it's a gradual progression of getting up at because I'm always up at 6 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock anyway. So getting up at 4:20 was a stretch, but not a huge stretch because I'm up super early as a general rule anyway. So if you're getting up at 7 a.m. and you want to start getting up earlier, get up 15 minutes earlier. And then gradually go back to, and then you need to have that nighttime routine set in as well. Start going to bed earlier of an evening, and then it all starts to shift and change. And one of the things that I love when people say, well, I'm not that kind of person. Well, what kind of person are you? I'm not any kind of person. I've decided who I want to be. And if I decide that I don't want to get out of bed because I've chosen not to get out of bed, I get to do that. But I also know that I'm paying a personal trainer $50 for 30 minutes, 3 days a week. And I have a commitment to him and myself to get up to be at the gym, so that I'm committed to myself and I'm committed to him, so that I can get the workout in that I want to get in for myself. Yeah. So it's really one of the biggest things is awareness. So when you start becoming aware of all the things that are going on in your life in regards to the stories that you tell yourself, the way that you show up in life, your responses, are you being responsive or are you being reactive? When something comes in, what is actually going on? And when we create stories, so say family is a really good example of this. So when you go to a big family event, there's always that one person you don't really want to see, and you create this story around them that they're not going to be nice to me, that da 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 da, all of the noise. And then you walk in and it plays out exactly how you've played it out in your head. So if you switch that around and you change the story of I'm going to be calm, relaxed, fun, whatever is meant to be, that person's going to be really loving to me. They're going to say hello. We might not have a deep conversation, but it's going to be nice and pleasant for everyone. It's going to be a beautiful energy.
Yeah.
Watch how everything.
This is, beyond woo. I mean, this is just basic psychology. If we believe something and we start like, oh, this is good, and we get ready for that and we rehearse what we're going to say, it's like, that is going to then be the natural direction that we are going to look for evidence to continue in that direction. It's why we worry, right? We worry to protect ourselves. And so, there are people, Alexis, who are going to hear what we're talking about, hear what you're talking about. I'm just here for, I'm just here to to present the opportunity to share this with my audience. But Alexis, there are people that are going to hear what you're saying and be like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And then there are going to be people who actually take you up on what you're saying, right? And they test on this and they experiment on this. And that is the biggest difference, because there's learned knowledge and there's activity knowledge. You learn the thing. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now we'll register that and you'll probably forget it in a few days. Then there's activity knowledge, and you just try the thing and you just see what the results are, because you could believe that this is working for Alexis, or you could try it out for yourself just to see. Okay. If you want to see, like, for example, dry January for my friends who imbibe, for those who said, I'm going to take January off and just see what happens. I have a few friends who did it, and they said it was so eye-opening for me. It really changed my relationship, exercising, or going out to run. Like, it's not, the idea of waking up at 5 a.m. and going to run is not fun, but the elation, the feeling that you feel afterwards, like you were talking about, makes it all worth it.
Yeah. And there was something that you said that's popped into my head that I haven't said yet in regards to all of the things, is creating space. We want all these things to show up in our world, but are you creating space for it to show up? And exactly what you just said with exercise, when you're burning energy, you're creating more space energetically for yourself so that you do feel amazing at the end, because you're moving and you're creating that space, and that's game changing. So have a look if you want more things to show up in your world, have a look at where you have space for that to come in, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, relationship wise. Have you got the space for it? Because
Yeah.
when we create that space, things can start flowing through into our world as well a lot faster. And like you said, it is just normal, general kind of things. And the way that I like to work is going into some woo-woo stuff, but also is the action, exactly what you said. If you're not taking the action, you could read book after book after book like
Oh
I
yeah.
used. I'm like, I'm reading all of this stuff and I'm getting all of this knowledge, and then I have to stop and hang on, I'm actually not taking the action steps that I need to be taking. And fear is there because fear is showing you that you're heading in the right direction. Fear is there to show you that when back in the day, when fear would come up, we had to, if we stood still and did nothing, we'd die because we'd be eaten. So we've got to move. So when fear comes up, you have to move, not get paralyzed. You have to move. And whether it's in the right direction or the wrong direction with the way that you move, we can just pivot to what's going on. Look at last year. So many of my clients needed to pivot last year. And some of my clients had the biggest monetary years and the biggest
Oh yeah.
transformation last year. And I was like, holy guacamole, it doesn't matter. And that's all storytelling, right? So
Yeah.
things start coming up and it's just like, well, where do I need to pivot now?
I saw a study, and I think it was by the Small Business Administration here in the U.S. And they looked at, they surveyed business owners, small business owners, and they asked, did you do nothing? Did you shut down, or did you adapt to meet new opportunity, new challenges, and new opportunities? And overwhelmingly, I want to say it was close to 70% of small business owners said, "I adapted. I I we absolutely did this." When there are big market forces and there are things in the world, if you can look at what's going on and saying, I can help people right now. Like, there are people that are really struggling. Like, if you're an events company, if you're a consultant that relies on getting on stages and there are no stages for you to be on, can you help someone like that? Because they could use that help. Well, especially early on. Hopefully by now they've figured it out, or they probably have a new job. but it's that sort of thing is always, what do you think about let me ask you this question. How does one receive, we'll call it ideas, inspiration, these flashes of these light bulb moments or whatever? Like, how can you put yourself in a position where you can kind of get those great ideas? Because I think sometimes it's really easy to look at somebody else and go, well, lucky them, right place, right time. But what they don't stop to consider is, no, they actually had to innovate. They had to take a lot of risks. They had to bust their tail. And yeah, now they've got the thing. But I really love the idea of receiving more ideas, and like, how do we get more of those? And then what do we do when we kind of like, oh, whoa, wait, flash of inspiration right now?
It's a big question. So first of all, it's really slowing down. And it's not slowing down physically, it's slowing down energetically and getting your thoughts onto paper. And I've just hired a beautiful assistant, and she was really depressed and really not happy in what she was doing. She's been working for me for a week and a half, and she's watched all the videos that I do, all of my trainings, all of the things, so that she can feel into my energy. And she's like, I've got a business idea. I now have a business idea. She's like, what do you think about this? No, 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 no. She's like, I didn't even know that this was even inside of me. And I'm like, okay, let's just breathe and slow down. She's like, but I never even thought about it until you showed up in my world. And it's about becoming aware. And I know that I keep coming back to being aware, but it's about the awareness of your thought process. So if you're looking at somebody else and going, well, that was lucky for them.
Yeah.
Right time, right place. And sometimes it is right time, right place. But they were also open to saying yes to something that scared them. They also said yes to the opportunity that they didn't know where it was going to go. They said yes to having a conversation with that one person that changed the trajectory of their life. Last year, I had a conversation with a girl, and then I said, oh, let's just jump onto another phone call. I don't have enough time to continue talking. And I changed the trajectory of her life from that one call, because she said yes to getting onto a phone call. And from January 1st to the 15th of January, she went from zero to $20,000 USD in her business because she was opened to the opportunity of doing something completely different that scared her, but she could see the vision. And it's about seeing the vision. And that's why I said before, it's about knowing and understanding what it is that you want. And that's the very, 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 very first thing to begin with is what do you want? And until you actually really, truly, deeply know that what you want, opportunities and thoughts and things don't really present themselves. They kind of do, but it's like, well, what's the point? So one of my clients, God love her, she said, I'm really annoyed. January was a $54,000 month. And I'm like, yeah, but it was still 54,000. She said, but it wasn't 92. And I'm like, I know it wasn't 92. I know that we did that last year. I go, we need to reevaluate. I said, you're bored. I go, you're bored. I said, you know that your baseline is 54K. That's we know that that's like, we won't go anything below that. And she's like, huh. And I said, so what is it that you want? She's like, well, we've gone through this. I'm like, yeah, we have. But at each level, we need to grow, we need to build, and we need to reevaluate. So at the beginning of every month, do an audit. What is it that you want? And are you on track to getting what you want? And what have you achieved that the things that you have wanted that you've now achieved? Because now we want to add more things to it. So we're always looking for more things to bring into our world, whether it's a relationship or, we decide that we want to have a bigger house or whatever that looks like, give back to charities, whatever that looks like. But for her, she's like, I've created this world that I had back in California because she now lives somewhere else. And I'm like, well, you actually have created exactly the same lifestyle. So now you want a different lifestyle. So let's create what that lifestyle looks like, because your default is your past life, your past where you were. So let's reevaluate that. And what is it that you want now? What do you want your life to look like? Because you've got the systems in place. You've got the people that are working for you in place. So now we're looking for more opportunity for her, which we have in one conversation. Again, one conversation, one insight can change your world. So if you're not feeling happy in your life, go start researching. Who do you want to be watching and listening to? What books do you need to be reading up on to start shifting and changing your mindset? Who do you need to have a conversation with? Who has what you have? Because not everyone's going to be working with me. Not everyone's going to want to work with you, because we're all unique. There's plenty to go around. So what is it that you want, and who has that? And go and have a conversation with them. And if it scares you to go and have a conversation with them, do it as soon as possible, because that's the thing that is going to change everything dramatically in your life.
I'd like to ask you this because you threw out some numbers, and I think some people just like, wait a minute, I can't even comprehend what you said. $54,000 in a month, right? And so, for someone who says, I don't even know how that's possible, like, how does someone accumulate that level of abundance?
Well, if you don't know how to do it, of course you don't know how to do it. But it's not going from 0 to 54 and being consistent at it. It's where you are right now. And one of the questions I like to ask people is, how much money do you want to earn per month? And as a general rule in the coaching world and the service world, it's, I want to get to 20,000. It's either 10 or 20. I go, okay, cool. So what's the most amount of money you've ever earned in a month? $3,000. So do you think $3,000 to $20,000 is an easy gap? It's a pretty decent size gap. So we want to close that. So we go, okay, let's get $3,000 this month. Next month, let's jump it to $6,000, because we'll just do exactly the same thing, but we'll just double it. And then we'll go from 6 to 12 and then 12 to 24. Mm-hmm. And we build on it, but we're building on it by compounding and doubling at the same time.
Yeah.
And the reason that we do this, because energetically, holding in our container, we're shifting and moving. In saying that, however, money is energy. Money is energy, and it's a number on a piece of paper. I normally have a $50 note sitting up. It's just a piece of paper, and we look at it and we put so much energy into, I want more of this. So money can't talk, but money can hear you. So what is your relationship with money, and gaining clarity on it? And I had a conversation last night about someone, and they're talking about someone who's got the money and keeping up with the Joneses and all the things. And I was having a little chuckle because I was like, well, I've done 75 already this year. And if you'd said that to me last year, I'm like, there's no way I would have done that amount of money.
Right.
But it's not, it's now my new normal, but it's not about the money. It's about the transformation and the impact that I'm making. So with my client who did the 54, and when she was talking about the numbers, and I'm like, babe, it's not about the numbers. It's about the transformation. You're not hitting enough people. How many more people do we want to be hitting to be helping them transform? And so, and I use the analogy of your program is a designer program. It's bougie. It's not for like, it's high level, and you've got to do the work. And not only when they come in to do health and fitness with you and nutrition, their businesses and their lives explode because they're coming back into themselves and tuning into themselves. And when it comes to money, it's such a huge thing because we all want it, but then there's a resistance around it. And then we think about, well, what if I want that amount of success? I need to be working more, when you actually don't need to be working more to have that amount of success. We just have to compound your energy, and it's having more fun in your business. And whereabouts are you feeling stuck? So it's not just about the money. It's about, when I have the money, I'm going to start being seen more. When I start being seen more, people are going to start questioning me more. When I'm getting questioned more, so then we start creating this huge big story in your head. It's like, hang on a second, this story actually doesn't even serve me right now. So is it the money that's blocking you, or is it the story behind the money that's blocking you, about being seen, about having conversations, about people who necessarily don't know what you're doing? And I've had to go through this. I was hiding for a long time going, I know that my work is amazing and it's phenomenal, I get massive transformation, but I was still scared and hiding behind all of my own limiting beliefs until I'm like, you know what, I'm jumping in and I'm being selfish by hiding. So are you being selfish from hiding and not doing the work that you're supposed to do? Because there's people out there that need you to walk next to them on their journey.
Yeah.
Did that answer the question for you?
Yeah. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to Stacy Stockford. Thank you so much for the, and by the way, you could post below, even if you're watching this afterwards, I'll go back, and Alexis, I'll make sure to tag her as well, and she can go through. Now I want to point out, and you've seen this on the screen right here, Alexis, I got a couple more questions for you. But this right here, I'm pointing with my pen. So you are, you meet with people like you're giving, like you're a generous soul. And I know that about you because we've had the opportunity to work together now for quite some time. But if you go, you're gonna have to manually type this in, or it might be in the chat below hand. Go to alexisjane.as.me/strategy. If you'll go there, Alexis, you're happy to visit with folks. And you know, and what do you normally talk about when someone calls? Like what do they start? Do they volunteer information? Do you ask questions? Like what happens on a call?
I ask lots of questions, but in the 30,
right.
I love connecting with people, and I love to know where they're at and what their biggest challenges are. And so before they jump on the call, generally I send them a message to find out a little bit about them, so we can dive straight into the juiciness on the call. And really asking questions around, what is it that you want? Who do you serve? First of all, do you have a business? Who do you serve? And what part of your life would you like to improve? And as I go through and uncover what's going on for them, I really listen in, because each conversation is different, because we're all different. And I like to really get to know who they are. And I do a deep kind of coaching session. If I feel like they're ready to have an energy clearing, I'll do an energy clearing on the call, in a free call, because I believe that, like in all of my coaching calls, or even in a strategy call or a sales call, whatever it is, I do my coaching. I do energy clearings. I just love to help people. And nothing excites me more than when my clients send me a message going, I've made more money, I'm helping another client. And it's not the client. It's not just that my client signed someone, and it's that person that they've signed, the life that's changing. So it's the ripple effect that's happening. So when people jump onto a 30-minute call with me, I get really deep into and helping them feel comfortable with expressing who they are, and getting comfortable with knowing what it is that they truly deeply want from life and the challenges that are going on, and just really allowing them a really safe container for them to be them.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Getting back, Alexis, to what we're talking about, people oftentimes focus way too much on the what's the mechanism that I am going to use in order to make more money. I'm going to trade more time. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to, dig faster, whatever that thing is. But listen, I've done now for the Thoughtful Entrepreneur, I've now interviewed well over 600, 6, 7, and 8-figure and 9-figure business owners. Never once. I mean, yes, they know how to hustle, but that's not why they got to where they were. The reason they got there, it was because of the inner work. And people hate to hear that. People hate to hear that. Some people hate to hear that because they think, well, that sounds too easy, or that's, we want patterns, right? We want an easy answer. Just do this, just buy more ads, just buy this program, and you'll be rich. But that transformation has to happen on the inside. You need to be the person. And again, I wish I could tell it to you a different way, but this is just the reality. After talking with everybody, I've heard this consistently. It's when I became the person, it was when I was ready for that and I did the work on the inside, it became effortless. And so, if I were to tell you what's happened in our business over the past year and a half, I mean, you couldn't even, it's unreal, but it was because I did a lot of allowing. I listened, I allowed, and with a heart directed toward wanting to serve other people. And I do believe that the universe will reward you, God will reward you, the abundance will come in relative to the size of the problems that you solve, the good that you bring in the world. It's just kind of a natural, inevitable outcome, but
Yeah.
for us, we're talking about numbers. Like, naturally now we're a big company. We've got about 40 some employees, but if I don't do $50,000 in sales in a week, that's a bad week. And that's like mind blowing to say something like that. Now, granted, no, I don't get to keep all that. I have a lot of wonderful, wonderful people that I get to work with. But that's what's possible. There's so much that's possible to everybody that's watching us right now. And whether it's you kind of raise your eyebrow at Alexis and I and go, okay, if you say so, and maybe you believe somebody else, or some other thing or whatever, but these are pretty universal truths.
Yeah.
Do the thing, have the power, become the person, have the power. The universe is going to conspire with you in a way. And again, I feel myself, my analytical brain saying this stuff and go, oh, Josh, people are going to check out when you say something like that. But if you believe maybe 10% of what I'm saying, cool. We'll leave it there. We'll get off at that floor on the elevator.
Yeah. But it's also, it's that deep knowing that the work that you do is transformational, and it's the new normal. So my new normal is talking to people who are doing big numbers. My new normal is 2 of the people that are in my world are going to hit $1 million this year. I have no doubt that I'm going to hit $1 million this year. It's the new normal of the conversation. So are you having low-level conversations, or are you having high-level conversations? And who are you actually talking to? So when it comes to these things, I know every time I talk to one of my mates who does like $60,000 before bloody breakfast, I know every time I talk to him, my abundance opens up, and I'm like, I'm going to make money today because I'm sitting in it's osmosis. I'm just in his world. I'm in his vortex. So you don't want to be the best person in the room. If you're the highest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Go get into another room. And so yesterday morning, I was in the shower, I was getting ready, and I wasn't in the shower. I was at the gym, and I was doing my thing, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sign a new client today. I'm going to sign a new client tonight. Yes, that is exactly what I'm going to do. It is easy. It's fun. It's easy. It's fun. Yes, 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 yes. I know that it's going to happen. By 7:15, I had a message from one of my clients going, "Hey, I've got a client for you." And then later that day, she sent me another one, "Hey, I've got another client for you." So not that I've signed them yet, but I know that I will. 2 people that I'm going to be getting onto a phone call with, who I'm going to be working with. And it was all just in alignment and knowing. So I know the work that I do is transformational. Do you know in your deep souls? Because it doesn't mean that you have marketing and strategy and planning and all of that thing is amazing. But until you actually understand the energetics behind it, nothing's going to shift. So if you already know what to do in your business, but you're not getting the results that you desire, jump on and have a conversation with me. I can guarantee that when we nut down what's keeping you blocked, within 24 hours, you will align yourself to having a new client sign up in your business, because that's the evidence that I have with nearly everyone that I have worked with and had a conversation with.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal how fast things can drop into your world, because it's already here. We're just blocking it.
Yeah. And if I could share too, just real quick, because I know we need to finish up here, but again, people are hearing this and they're, well, Alexis just has people that send business to her. Yes, that's exactly it. And that's, so a part of that is what we're talking about is, when you attract, right? You know why you're here. You've got clarity on who you are and what you do. And other people know that about you. Then you say, there's one thing I do, and I do this one thing, and I'm so passionate about it. I can do this when everybody else quits, and I love doing this, and I'm really good at this one thing. When you start getting lots of people to know about that thing that you fix, that good that you bring to the world, guess what they are going to do? They are either going to want you to solve that problem for them, or they're going to send people to you. And so, when you get to the point where you have a few hundred people who all really respect you and they love you, like they trust you and they know what you do and they know the good that you bring in the world, you're set. You're basically, it's game, set, match. You just have to keep being awesome, keep doing that good in the world. And again, people will either directly come and want to work with you, or they will do all of the networking for you. Can I just tell you this too? And I'll let you kind of sum up everything, and then Alexis. But I could just tell you that for us now, when I kind of shared our experience in working, this is the thing that's going to blow people's mind. We have not done one bit of advertising, not one dime in advertising. We don't do any proactive outreach. I mean, other than, if you call it, like I just go and I serve, right? And I do nice stuff. It has been 15 months since I did any bit of outreach. And with outreach, we were doing maybe some LinkedIn stuff. We were doing some outreach, but we got so busy that we turned that off and like, oh, maybe we'll turn it on, or maybe we don't need to. And it's been 15 months now, 100% inbound. And I could tell you it's helpful to have really good systems, but it was because I was the person that I attracted the other people to inform me and help me to build the systems. So that's part of this. When you become the person, the right people will show up and they'll give you the resources that you need so that you can get to that next level.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's having those conversations and having those people, exactly what you just said. It's being that person that you want to be attracting into your world, and having that showing up in your world, that you're able to help them, shift them, grow them. And I've got the most phenomenal women that I'm working with at the moment that just blow my mind every single day, that are they're doing the work. Like you said, there's some people that just go, oh, I can hear it and I understand it. But to go and actually do the work and shift and change is phenomenal. So if you want to have a 30-minute conversation with me, I just love meeting people. I'm a people person, and because I am no longer in hospitality, personal training, or real estate, I'm not connecting to people in person because I love what I do. However, it's a lot of on the phone and Zoom calls, and I love connecting every day, having conversations. So jump on and have a 30-minute call with me. I am not scary. It is fun. It is a no obligation call. Jumping on just to gain some clarity on where you're at. if I can send you in the right direction, if you decide that you want to work with me or you need to be working with somebody else that I have in my network, I love referring people onto other people as well. So everyone has someone that they are connected with, and not everyone is the right fit for everyone, but there's always someone out there to help you. So gain clarity on what it is that you want. Let's jump onto a call. If you don't know what you want, jump onto a call and we can unpack what that looks like.
Man, that's wonderful. Okay, so the website right here on the screen, it's alexisjane.as.me/strategy. And that's going to put your schedules right there. Grab 30 minutes. And Alexis, is very kind of you. What a great way to start off the weekend for those of us who are just beginning it. You get to have a lovely Saturday, Alexis. Thank you so much for your time. My recommendation for someone's like, man, I feel like I got some of that, but not all of that. Go back, rewind, watch this from the beginning. I promise you, again, having talked with as many business owners as I have with our podcast with the Thoughtful Entrepreneur, 600-700 interviews, what Alexis is talking about is the underlying thing that I've heard over and over. They use different language to describe it, but it's universally that those same principles. And when you get in the flow, when you understand that knowingness and that clarity and that alignment with who you are, it just gets easier. I promise you it does. I know what it's like to be stuck. And that's why, because I know that there are people that might be feeling stuck right now. And that's why it was so important, Alexis, for me to have you on, because I know that you're doing such great stuff. So thank you so much, Alexis. I'll let you get on with your Saturday. Everybody else have a wonderful weekend. And I appreciate you, Alexis. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.